Welcome everybody to my two-part series on how I built this tabletop podium. What you're looking at here is a quick SketchUp drawing that I made just to help me get my measurements and angles correct. As you can see, the podium consists of a frame that is clad with some finished material, and then the tabletop is going to be made out of hardwood plywood, which will have a border wrapped around it made of made of hardwood. Now you can see me taking the panels off so you can see the internal structure of the podium. And at the time I wasn't sure whether or not I was going to build a drawer into it, but then I chose to. So here I am preparing the stock. It's just a 2x4. This is for the frame of the podium. So I take a 2x4 and I'm ripping it down to make a couple of 2x2 pieces. The frame will be built out of 2x2 material. Now I'm rough cutting all of the lengths of the pieces that will make the frame of the podium. Now I'm cutting the specific angle to make the slope of the podium top, and I'm adjusting my table saw blade to do likewise for the top end or the front and back horizontal rails so they would match up with the slope of the sides. Here's some quick glue up. Just glue and screw construction because all of this will be hidden eventually. You can see how the angled upright pieces match to the beveled front and back top pieces, so the slope will be continuous. Now I didn't rely on the drawing to cut these pieces. I waited until the majority of the frame was built and then I cut these. I measured and cut them as opposed to pre-cutting them because I've got a couple angles on there and I wanted to make sure this was exactly right, and what it would do is draw the whole frame into square and plumb. Here I am cutting the decorative panels out of some beadboard plywood. And now I'm using the existing built frame just to make the measurement needed to cut that angle. It's a lot easier than trying to calculate the angle and cut it. So first I mark the the line, and then I use my special sled that I use this. It's just like an angled jig that I cut all my different angles, and I just reapply the fence every time to get exact copies of what I need. So as you can see here, now these two pieces match exactly. Here I am cutting the front piece, and basically I'm cutting the drawer front out of the front piece, and that is just so everything lines up perfectly. So when the drawer is closed, all of those little beadboard lines will match from the face of the podium base and the face of the drawer. Here's some stock that I had just milled out of some firewood. I had never done it before, and so I figured this was a good project to use that. It has been seasoning in my shed all summer long. So just your normal routine of jointing, then planing, and then cutting to final width. Here I am making the final dimensioning for the drawers. And I just tack the two pieces together with my small finish nailer, or I think it's a brad nailer. And that holds it in place long enough for me to countersink and drive some screws in. I'm using a scrap piece of 3/8 inch plywood to use as the drawer bottom. And this is just simply glued and brad nailed to the bottom of the drawer. This drawer won't be holding anything too heavy. It'll just be holding teaching and school supplies. Since it is not going to hold anything too terribly heavy, I just went with traditional European style drawer slides. I have a tendency to overkill on things like this, and so I'm pretty proud of myself for going with this option as opposed to some heavy-duty full extension drawer slide. Here's the first fit, and it ended up working out pretty good. Now I'm attaching the drawer front, and as you'll see, once I get it on, that those lines, They line up perfectly with each other because I cut it out of a single piece. Alright, I have more in store for you in part 2. I'd like to thank you for watching. If you liked what you saw, please like and subscribe. Have a great day.